All right, let's talk about enterprise security. What if I told you there was a single switch you could flip to instantly secure one of your most critical platforms? Well, today we're going to break down how single sign-on, or SSO, acts as exactly that, a master switch for your Everflow instance, and honestly, why it's something any scaling business just can't afford to ignore. So let me ask you a question. What is your company's biggest security risk? You're probably picturing some hacker in a dark room, right? But for most organizations, the real danger isn't some crazy cyber attack. Nope, it's something way more common. A simple human oversight during a totally routine process, like an employee leaving the company. And that's where we find our first huge problem, the manual security gap. The second you start relying on people to manually shut down user access across a bunch of different systems, you're basically building risk right into your day-to-day operations. Think of the old way of offboarding an employee like a really bad relay race. First, HR passes the baton to IT. Then, IT has to literally run from system to system, log in, deactivate the account, log out, log into the next one, deactivate, log out. It's slow, it's tedious, and as you can see, every single one of these handoffs is a chance to drop the baton. And here's the bottom line. Every single one of those manual steps creates a delay. And in the security world, delay means risk. That former employee could still have access to your sensitive platform data for hours, maybe days. Or if that IT ticket gets lost in the shuffle, maybe even longer. That's not just a risk, that's a ticking time bomb. So how do we fix this broken relay race? How do we stop that clock from ticking? Well, you do it by installing one powerful solution that acts like a master switch for your company's security. And that solution, of course, is single sign-on. Now, to get how this master switch works, you first have to understand its power source, the identity provider, or IDP. Just think of the IDP as your company's single source of truth for who's who. It's the one central hub, like your Google Workspace or Okta or Azure AD, that knows for sure who works for you and what they're allowed to touch. It is the ultimate gatekeeper. And this brings us right back to our master switch idea. When you integrate Everflow with your company's IDP, you completely change how access is controlled. Everflow basically trusts the IDP, no questions asked. So instead of managing logins inside Everflow itself, you're handing the keys over to that central system. You're wiring Everflow directly into your corporate security mainframe. The logic here is just so powerful and, honestly, pretty elegant. Everflow no longer has to decide who gets in. Instead, when someone tries to log in, Everflow just turns to the IDP and asks, hey, is this person on the list? And the IDP gives a simple yes or no. This centralizes everything. And here's the real kicker. It makes proving compliance for an audit incredibly simple. Okay, now we get to the single biggest security benefit of using SSO. This is the reason the master switch is such a game changer. Instant, automated access revocation. This is where you see the real power. And this just lays it out perfectly. On the left, you've got the old world. It's slow, it's risky, and it all depends on someone remembering to do their job right every single time. But on the right, you have the new reality with SSO. Access is gone, instantly, securely, and with zero manual effort. That security gap is closed before it even has a chance to open. I mean, just look at how simple this process becomes. An employee leaves, someone in HR or IT does one single thing. They deactivate that user in the central corporate IDP. And the second that happens, bam, the master switch is flipped. Access to Everflow and every other app connected to SSO is cut off instantly, automatically. No tickets, no delays, no gaps. It's just done. And let's be really clear about this. This isn't just about making your workflow a little better. This is a fundamental shift in your security posture. You are actively closing a major vulnerability the exact second it appears. This makes your entire user lifecycle not just efficient, but verifiably secure and totally auditable. So let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture. Because setting up SSO isn't just about fixing one problem. It's about unlocking a whole bunch of strategic advantages for the entire business. This table really makes the business case. First, you've got that enhanced security from instant revocation. We know how critical that is. Next, compliance becomes a breeze. Your IDP logs become the one flawless audit trail of who accessed what and when. And this is huge. You get scalable operations. As your team grows from 50 people to 500, this automated process just keeps working. It kills the manual friction that slows companies down.
And that really brings us to the final, most powerful idea. Implementing SSO isn't just checking a box for a new feature. It's about being a true platform architect. It's about building a secure, stable bedrock that your company can use to grow exponentially without being tripped up by simple, preventable security risks. It's not just a master switch. It's the foundation for everything that comes next.